Hi y'all, my name is Kristen and I own Tutti Frutti's farm, and right now the farm's on hiatus from commercial production because I'm looking for land, and I am out here just wanted to show y'all this awesome garden that my neighbor did. And this is an empty lot. He just started a garden. So right now in this video though, we're going to go over how to find compost, manure, and wood chips that's not full of chemicals. Because I have used organic compost out at the farm and it was going down in quality, so I needed to find a new one anyways. I'm going to go around, I'm going to get some samples, I'm going to make some phone calls, I'm going to do some calculations, I'm going to show y'all how to do those calculations, what questions I ask to be as close to organic as we can, because we're practicing organic, permaculture, and regenerative practices, which I've been doing since 2013. Well, check this video out and stick around to the end and you'll be able to see what composts perform the best. Which one does the best? Stay tuned. What pea grew? Compost, get a sample, get a free sample, try it out. Does your stuff germinate? If you're gonna spend a lot of money, make sure that the compost is worth it. Ask for a sample of whoever you're getting your compost from. If it's not in a bag, you know, if it's from the source, you're getting a load delivered, ask for a sample, try out some seed. I'm going to try out, this is the local free, Ramsey County in Minnesota has free compost, and it does say what they accept, which is pretty awesome. But I have tried it before. It didn't work that well. So I'll try it again. I'll try it again, Ramsey County, because it's free. But I'm still going to test some other places because I don't have much faith in this one just because of before. But maybe they've changed. Maybe they've changed and gotten better. Putting the seed in a cup with the compost, seeing if it germinates. If it does, maybe you got yourself a winner. It's closed. We're gonna have to come back. Okay, y'all, so I just Googled compost near me and I'm checking out businesses that have compost. So landscape, maybe it's a farm, maybe it's recycling, right? So just contact those and ask the questions. 316 Rock, y'all. Alright y'all, this is 316 Rock. So they make the compost here that you purchase in the store. Okay y'all, some sites have for you to be able to do your own calculation and some sites don't. So I'm just going to type in the area for our beds. Now I did not leave in here the walkways, so I took out the walkways. And what we come up with is 19.5 cubic yards. So I'm doing 2 instead of 3, which is 13. And then I also want to change it to 3 and see what the difference is, 19.5. So that's quite a difference between 2 inches high and 3 inches high, but I'm just going to take a note. And now we have the flower bed. And so that's different. So I'm just going to add the flower bed in there. I'm going to add up each option, whether it's 2 inches or 3 inches, for compost to get the cubic yards for the whole growing area, the flower bed area, and the perennial and annual vegetable, herb, and fruit growing space. Okay y'all, here is all my notes that I took while I was calling around places. Took me 1 hour to research and call and talk to all these people. Okay y'all, so this nursery is in Wisconsin, but when I called them, they do deliver to my parents, which I guess is not that too far for them. So, you know, that's why it's good to maybe always check, even though if it's a spot where you think it might be too far, just call and ask, hey, do you deliver? And here we can see more info for all of their materials. Now, in this, I had to call and ask them what mulch they had that was chemical free, because it's not labeled, right? It's not labeled. So that's why you also just want to call and ask the questions, because the answers that you have, or that you need, I should say, are not always available on the website. So just call. People are really nice. I know sometimes people are like, oh, I need to call, I can't text them, I can't. Well, it's just faster. Don't get cedar, don't get anything dyed. You want something that is not going to change the pH of your soil. You want something that doesn't have any chemicals in it. And so make sure that when you call about mulch, that you're asking those questions about what kind of mulch it's from, and if there were any chemicals used, any dyes, because you don't want any of that going into the soil and then into the plants and then into your food. Y'all, here are the questions that I ask. I want to know first, do they deliver? Because if they don't, then don't waste your time with the rest, right? First, you got to look up, before you call, you got to know how many cubic yards you need of compost, of mulch, and we're also getting stone. So if you're getting that, ask questions about what kind of stone that you are getting, the cost and the delivery, and if it will all fit in one load. If it doesn't fit in one load, add those delivery fees up. And because like from 316 rock, we have to do 2 separate deliveries, one for the limestone and one for the compost. So that is $125 for each delivery. But yeah, you just want to make sure if something has manure in it that it's at least 120 days old, because you want to make sure that it's going to be food safe. And if it is too new, you could potentially and it could cause E. coli. So just make sure that the manure is not super fresh, that it's at least 120 days old. And the mulch, you want to make sure that it's no dyes. You want to make sure that it's not cedar. There's no chemicals in the mulch. And it's not going to say that. A lot of times places don't have organic. So to make sure that you ask the questions that would suffice for organic. And that's why we're calling around too and asking the questions, because if it's not labeled on the website, or if you're buying a bag and it's not labeled, then I would recommend not to get it, because especially with manure, if the animal had eaten something that was toxic in terms of their feed being sprayed with chemicals, and then they're eating that feed that has chemicals in it, well, then their manure is going to have chemicals in it too, and that's going to get into your soil, into your plants, into your food that you're growing, and that you actually want to be chemical free. So you don't want the animals also to have had hormones. So you want to make sure that the animal was not given hormones. And then third, you want to make sure that they weren't given salt licks, because a lot of salt can do damage to your plants. You don't want to over salt your plants and your soil. So there's no manure in either one, so we're going to supplement and get manure from a small cattle operation. They don't use any pesticides, herbicides for their feed. No hormones for the cattle. So there's just a lot of things, that you need to ask, but it's better to know up front and eliminate places than to put it on your bed because it was cheap, or that you were like, well, this will do for now, but then it's in your bed and you can't get rid of it. If you put something in your garden bed that is toxic, it's really hard to get out. So just want to make sure up front that you're getting things that are clean in terms of, you know, no weeds, no chemicals, no hormones, no salt. And it's totally worth it to buy direct because a lot of people know what's in their product if you buy it bulk, and a lot of times it's cheaper. And it's great to build relationships with local businesses around you. So there you go. Good luck. You got this. And to get samples of a 50-50 blend of compost and a full garden blend. All right, so you know, just wrote on here where the place was that I was getting the sample, the blend, and then we'll put some seeds in and see what happens, what it turns out, who does the best. That is the full compost and the 50-50. Okay, so we're gonna add up all of these calculations that we got for how many cubic yards of compost that we need. So it says 17, and that's for 2 inches. So now we're going to do the 3 inches. Because I've found that you don't necessarily have to do 3. A lot of people are like, oh, you got to do 3 to start. But I have found that it's not totally necessary. Okay, so 17 if it's 2, or 26 if it's 3. Okay, y'all, so all of these bags here is what you would purchase in the store. Over a year old that it's been bagged and now it's ready for the stores because they got to be ahead of when the stores need them. And this takes a long time to bag, right? Even though it's a different company doing that, not his, it's like, why not buy the compost that's actually newer? Because his hasn't been in the bags for over a year, but it's ready to go and it's cheaper. Okay, y'all, this is just a search. I found Back to Roots organic mulch on a website, and Whitney Farms, that's the stuff I used on the garlic. That's cool. So Whitney Farms, that's a good compost. I use their compost on the garlic. I found the Back to Roots organic mulch. It says 60 bags and free 3-day delivery, and that sounds pretty good. And it says no synthetic dyes, which is, I mean, if it's really certified organic, then, like it says, 100% certified organic, then it definitely doesn't have any chemicals. It definitely cannot have dyes. It's not made of cedar. And it should be exactly what you need. So if we are to order from Lowe's, I gotta call and make sure they can deliver to my parents. But I'm glad I found that this deal, it seems pretty good, so I'm gonna give them a call. Really cool operation. I can just seeing it, you know what I mean? Just out here seeing it. And so if you have the chance to find anyone local of supplies that you need, go to that source direct. You know, small garden places are cool too, but if you go to a local establishment who the garden place is buying from, and this is only 8 miles from where the garden is, so that's pretty local. The gravel pit. We're gonna see which compost gets these peas to germinate faster. full compost right here. And then this is the 50-50 blend. We're using Oregon sugar peas. This windowsill gets good light. We'll see which one is better. We're also going to go grab some city compost and test that and see. Well, the water filtration, the full is better than the 50-50. These are the seeds. All right, we'll let y'all know how it goes. Okay, y'all, we had to come back to get our sample of compost from Ramsey County. This is the free compost. I don't know if you're in your area, they do city compost or county. So I'm just digging in here with my rain boot. And yes, it's sleeting out. It's Minnesota, I guess. Anyway, I'm digging in here, back in here, because I want to see if I can get digging in. And this is what I did at the other place. I just dug in a spot, filled up a cup to see how some seeds are going to germinate in here. And we already started our other seeds, but don't worry, we put the date on when we seeded that, so that we'll put the date on here, right? We'll be like, count the days out and how many days did it take to germinate. We'll see about this compost compared to the other. All right, same seed. We got our Oregon sugar peas. Again, we're gonna do 2 peas. Just as we did for the 316 rock, we're gonna do for the Ramsey County compost that we just got. All right, we're just gonna cover that. Stick that one in, cover that. All right, so we will see. Okay, y'all, so the Back to the Roots organic natural mulch, which says it's certified organic. We get 60 bags. They're 1 cubic foot each for $4.99, and the tax comes to $36.87 with a total of $536.86. We're gonna go for it. It's more than we need, but it's not gonna go old. We want it for weed suppression, to help with compaction for our walkways, and for water retention. The extra we can use next year. It's not bad to use mulch that's a year old. We don't need it for soil enhancement like compost is, where we want it fresh because it's going to have the nutrients that we need for the soil. This compost, that's what compost is for. The mulch is going to last. We can use it for, my parents want to put in fruit trees, so around the fruit trees. And so it'll just store better too in bags. So even though we're ordering more than what we need, it's a great price. It comes to $9. It's free delivery. And $9 a cubic foot as opposed to 28 or 34 if we bought it in bulk from a different place. Plus they would have delivery fee on top of that. So this is a great deal and we're going to go for it. There we go. All done. Okay, y'all, we got a little pea coming up there. Nothing there. Got a little pea coming up there. So the winner is the 316 rock. That's the full compost. The 50-50 blend, no good. And the Ramsey County compost. Wow, I'm very surprised about that one, but there you go. So test your compost, ask for samples. You're buying in bulk, and get yourself some really good compost for growing your food. If you're starting your own garden, you want to grow your own food and don't want chemicals in them, this channel and this series of going out at my parents' garden and designing that space for them and helping them learn how to grow their own food, it is my hopes that it'll help you out there learn how to grow your own food that is chemical free as well. What's to come on the channel? This is our timeline, what we need to get done. So many awesome things to come. What the heck am I doing here? Thanks for watching. Kevin says, what the heck are you doing here?